Hey guys, this section of violence here. Uh, we got a fun one today. We got PFL. It's week 2, really good week of fights. We had a few cancellations. Hopefully, we can get Romero on the card. Now we could have a change up. We could have Renfro subbing in. We could have Romero subbing in for Renfro. All depends if Renfro makes weight 155. We'll know by today. But yeah, let's get it started. We got Adam Piccolo versus Elvin Espinoza. So with this fight, you got to take into account two things. One, Elvin keeps it relatively close with a lot of guys, and he has good grappling, but so does Adam Piccolo. So it's one of those things like an old guard versus a new guard, and I do think Elvin is going to be a little more clean everywhere. So I'm gonna lean Alvin, but it's not a confident pick, and honestly, this could go either way. So I would avoid this fight altogether. But yeah, I gotta lean Alvin purely off of youth and just the new generation being a bit better maybe. But yeah, I got Elvin by decision. I think that's probably the most likely outcome. But yeah, moving on, we have Marcelo Nunes taking on Jordan Heiderman. Another situation where we got the new guard and Jordan Heiderman coming to take out the old guard and Marcelo Nunes. Now, Nunes just showed that he's dangerous on the feet too with KO power. But the thing with Nunes is he gasses. And if he doesn't get Heiderman out of there in the first round, I could see him gassing and maybe getting a comeback win for Heiderman. Um, but I'm going to go with Nunes, putting together a solid however amount of time needed to beat this guy. Honestly, he could probably get him out of there in the first round, but I'm gonna go with Nunes by decision. I think Heiderman is tough. I just feel like Goltsov's a really good hammer, so we'll see how bad Heiderman is. But I think Nunes is gonna take him to a decision and win a greasy decision at that. So I think the price is right at -200, but I personally would not play this fight. I definitely there's a lot of better fights to bet on than this one. Moving on, we have Rabanov versus Solomon Renfro. So honestly, with this is it's another fight where it's like it's a tricky fight because Solomon Renfro just looked pretty good against Magomedov, and that was at welterweight. But I don't know how good he's going to look at lightweight. I feel like his chin's going to suffer, his cardio is going to suffer. Gadzi's just, I feel like the more skilled fighter at this weight class, especially. I think he's going to be putting on a striking performance, like a really good striking performance. I think he's going to be able to use his long range weapons to keep Solomon at bay. I think he can mix in his wrestling if needed. I think he's just a more polished version of Magomedov. He trains at Habib with Habib's guys, so I'm gonna go with Gadzi. Should be -250 and above. So I got to take him at these odds. I wouldn't take him past -200, but I got him at a -180. I think 186. So, but I definitely would not play it at these odds. I would probably look to parlay. But yeah, moving on, we have Bruno Miranda taking on Brent Primus. Another really good fight. Old guard versus the new guard. We got Brent Primus here. He's a really good at fight IQ, having good fight IQ, taking the fight where the path of least resistance. I feel like he's gonna have a lot of success in the grappling, um, especially in rounds 2 and 3. Round one, I think Bruno takes it. I think he's just too athletic, too fast, too dangerous. But does he finish Brent Primus is the question. And if he doesn't, I feel like Brent Primus could steal the last 2 rounds with that grappling heavy game plan. It really depends on if Miranda shows up in shape or not. Because if he doesn't, I feel like Primus is going to steal it late. But we'll see how this fight plays out. It's another very close fight. This is a hard card to bet on, if I'm being honest. A lot of really close fights, so I'm gonna lean Bruno Miranda here, but it's a very low confidence prediction. Moving on, I can't even remember his first name. Davlet or something. Yagshamurdov. Davlet Yagshamurdov versus Jacob Nadoo. So Nadoo is a very, very dangerous man. Very, very dangerous power puncher. And I feel like he could get Donvalet out of there, but it all depends on how and when. Because if it's anywhere past round 2, even though there's only 3 rounds, I feel like Davlet could even maybe steal a decision. So I'm gonna go with Jacob here by KO round 1 or 2, but honestly, I can see a world where he loses a decision or just wins a decision. So weird fight to call because the experience of Dovlet and the footwork. I feel like he has better footwork than Jacob. Jacob's very, very dangerous on the front foot. Very, very dangerous punches. I think he's going to cause Dovlet a lot of problems with his power, but other than that, I feel like he will slow down if he can't get Dovlet out of there or if he tries too hard for the finish early. So I'm going to go with Jacob Nadoo, but I'm not going to probably bet this fight. It's just I don't have a lot of interest in it. I think Dovlet's good enough to pull the upset. So moving on, we have Simon Bong versus Antonio Carlos Jr. Another fight where it's a weird fight. Simon Bong has beat guys like Luke Trainer, but he'll lose to guys that he should be beating. So it's one of those situations where it's what Simon Bong shows up, because if it's a Simon Bong that fought Jose Augusta or Christian Edwards, anyone who loses to those guys, you're not that great. So I feel like Shoeface should be able to win a decision or find a submission at some point, but who knows? Maybe Simon just causes him so much problems on the feet that Shoeface has to shoot panic takedowns and accepts guard or something. I don't know. All I know is this is a fight I want nothing to do with, especially Carlos Jr. at chalk. I just want nothing to do with this fight. But yeah, he probably wins. Just little interest, and I can't bring myself to betting on this fight. Moving on, we have Sadhu Sai versus Josh Silveira. Tricky fight. Another fight to call. Sadhu Sai's fight is going up a weight class to 205. He is a 170 pounder. I'm interested to see how slow he'll be at this weight class, or if it will be affected at all. He doesn't strike me as someone who's going to be cutting a lot of weight for 205. This is going to be a really interesting matchup because Josh Silveira has a grappling advantage, but Sadhu Sai showed great grappling defense. So I'm going to go with Sai, but it's a mystery what he looks like at this weight class, so I'm not going to bet it. But I do think they're probably the side to win, especially at the value they're giving us now, because everyone's putting money on Silveira because of the weight class. So I definitely got to go with Sadhu Sai here, but there's some unknowns with this fight. Be ready for it. Speaking of unknowns, we got our next fight. We got Mads Bernell versus Michael Dufort. So we got another guy moving up a weight class. We got Mads coming up to 155. I'm interested to see how he'll look. It won't be that big of a jump, but I'm still interested. Michael Dufort's a pretty big 155er, so I'm interested to see if the size will affect the grappling in this fight. I got to go with Mads Bernell here. He's just a more fundamental fighter. He has way better boxing, solid grappling, head movement. He's really fun to watch. He pressures you. I just think he's going to break Dufort over the distance, maybe find a late TKO win. I got to go with Mads Bernell here. I just feel like he's the side, even though he's going to be giving up some size. I do think he's the better fighter. So we'll see if that translates to a new weight class, but I'm decently confident Mads to win this fight. Moving on, we have Clay Collard versus Patricky Pitbull. So another fight where it's kind of tricky. Like there's a lot of tricky fights to call in this card. Clay Collard is a pressure forward, get in your face, break you down type of style. He doesn't throw a lot of kicks, but he's very, very aggressive with the boxing. And I think he can cause Pitbull a lot of problems because Pitbull is very hittable, but he packs a punch. So it's one of those things that if Collard can stay safe, he can just pick him apart out of range for 3 rounds. I'm going to go Collard by 29-28 decision just because of how tough Patricky is, and Collard doesn't really finish a lot of people, so We'll see how this one plays out, but I gotta go with Collard here. I think he's just the better boxer, and he has decent takedown defense, but I do worry once it hits the ground that he'll get controlled. I don't think he'll get submitted by Patricky, but there's a chance he could get controlled and ground and pounded. But yeah, I'm gonna lean Clay Collard here. I feel like he's a side. But yeah, anything can happen. It's a really close fight. Moving on, we have Rob Wilkinson versus Tom Breeze. This fight's weird. Rob Wilkinson is coming off PED suspension. He's got really dangerous striking, but how is he going to look off the sauce, or if he's still on it? I think he's a very, very dangerous man on the feet. Decent grappler as well. I feel like Tom Breeze will be the more superior grappler, but not by much. Definitely a close fight. I think Breeze is not great on the feet, so I'm gonna have to go with Wilkinson by TKO, maybe rounds 2 or 3. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see this being a close decision. I don't know how these guys are gonna look. Tom Breeze, I have more of an idea. Wilkinson's coming from a layoff, so I don't know if he's not improved or gotten worse or maybe gotten just a little better. I don't know. All I know is Rob Wilkinson is coming off PED suspension, and they rarely look the same when they do. So we will see. But yeah, I got to go with Rob Wilkinson here by TKO. Definitely not a confident pick, though. Moving on to one of my more confident picks in the card, we have Impa Kasangane versus Alex Polizzi. I like Alex Polizzi. He's a grinder. He has pretty good wrestling. He's tough, but he's fighting an uphill battle here because we got Impa, a power puncher with good solid takedown defense. And unless you're Murad, who can shoot 52 takedowns in a single fight, I just got to go with Impa Kasangane winning at least 2 rounds by damage. I'm going to go with Impa by decision. Maybe even getting a TKO, but I doubt it. I think he's going to win a decision. I feel like Impa's just the superior athlete, faced better competition, and looked better against the competition. So I like Impa's ceiling a little better than Alex's. We'll see how it plays out, but yeah, I'm on Impa Kasangane. Pretty straightforward pick. Yeah, I'll give you guys now my top 5 picks. My top 5. So my number 1 pick would have to be. I would have to say Gadzi Rabananov. Number 2 would be Impa Kasangane. Number 3 would be Shoeface. Number 4 would be Mads Bernell. And number 5 would be Jacob Netto. Alrighty, guys. Like, subscribe. You know the drill. I'll catch you guys next time. And I'll have a BKFC one out for you guys probably by tonight. So, like, subscribe. You know the drill. I'll see you.